In the year 2179, humanity's quest for cosmic understanding had reached dizzying heights, yet nothing could have prepared the world for the unprecedented signal. A massive dark vortex silently materializing just beyond the outer planets. High above Earth's surface, orbiting research platforms and deep space observatories buzzed with uneasy energy. A black hole, anomalously close to our solar system, had appeared without warning. Its gravitational pull was measured to be both erratic and unnervingly deliberate, as if it were not merely a natural phenomenon, but a portal to mysteries unfathomed. Inside the control room of the Celestial Observation Array, technicians and scientists huddled before holographic displays streaming real-time data. Dr. Evelyn Reyes, the lead astrophysicist renowned for her unconventional theories, stared at the swirling distortion with a mix of trepidation and wonder. "This defies every law we know," she murmured, fingers hovering over the control panel. "The radiation signatures, the gravitational anomalies, it's almost as if it's communicating with us." Her colleague, Dr. Kamal Singh, adjusted his glasses and leaned closer to the projection. "Communication or a warning?" he asked quietly, his voice trembling under the weight of unspoken possibilities. The room fell into a heavy silence, punctuated only by the soft hum of servers processing vast streams of cosmic data. Each pulse from the black hole sent shivers down the spines of those present, igniting fears of a Pandora's box being flung wide open. Far from Earth, aboard the research vessel Dauntless, Commander Marcus Rourke surveyed the unfolding chaos from the bridge. The starship, an elegant blend of military precision and scientific ingenuity, was the spearhead of humanity's response to the unknown. The captain's eyes, hardened by years of space exploration, now softened with a rare mixture of curiosity and resolve. "Status report," he ordered crisply over the intercom. A young officer's voice replied, "Sensors confirm an unprecedented gravitational distortion. It's not like any natural black hole we've encountered. There's structure in its emissions." The words hung in the air like a portent, hinting at engineered signals embedded deep within cosmic chaos. Commander Rourke's gaze shifted between the view screen and the murmuring crew, every detail meticulously noted. "Prepare a closer survey. We're entering uncharted territory," he commanded, his tone leaving no room for debate. Back at the observation array, the unfolding picture became even more disturbing. Automated telescopes captured fleeting images of what appeared to be geometric patterns embedded in the swirling accretion disk. Dr. Reyes pointed excitedly, "Look at that! It's almost as if there's a deliberate design, a code etched in the very fabric of space-time." Her words sent ripples of astonishment and fear through the assembly. Was this the work of an advanced civilization, or had humanity unwittingly stumbled upon a trap laid by nature itself? While debates raged over theoretical models and potential risks, an undercurrent of urgency prevailed. News of the discovery spread rapidly through global channels. Governments, corporations, and even clandestine organizations mobilized resources, each with its own hidden agenda. In the dimly lit strategy room of Earth Space Command Center, military advisors and civilian scientists pored over satellite images and sensor logs. General Alina Mendez, a veteran of orbital conflicts, clenched her fist. "This is no ordinary cosmic event," she declared. "We're staring down the barrel of a mystery that could alter the fate of humanity." The black hole, already a subject of scientific marvel, now took on an ominous dimension. It was as if the cosmos had thrust open a door to realms unknown, a harbinger of challenges that would soon test the very mettle of human resilience. The initial shock gradually transformed into a determined resolve among Earth's finest minds and bravest souls. Even as the scientific community grappled with theories of wormholes, space-time ripples, and multidimensional echoes, a singular truth began to emerge. The event was a catalyst, and humanity was on the brink of a journey that would redefine its place in the universe. In the quiet hum of deep space, where the void held secrets beyond imagination, humanity stood united at a crossroads. The promise of discovery warred with the threat of annihilation. Yet, as the data continued to pour in and the patterns in the dark vortex hinted at deliberate signals, one thing was clear. this was just the beginning. The black hole, with all its enigmatic allure and silent menace, beckoned explorers to venture inside the black hole, into realms where the rules of physics blurred and the survival of our species hung in the balance. With the fate of a world teetering on the edge of cosmic revelation, the first steps were being taken. Eyes fixed on the unknown, humanity prepared to confront the mysteries that lay just beyond the event horizon. And in that moment, under the shadow of a cosmic giant, the indomitable spirit of humankind shone brighter than ever before. The Dauntless glided silently toward the roiling silhouette of the black hole, its hull bathed in the ghostly shimmer of cosmic radiation. The vast emptiness of space, normally a serene canvas of stars, had transformed into an arena of tumultuous energy. Every sensor aboard the ship vibrated with the anticipation of the unknown, the readings spiking erratically as if warning of hidden perils ahead. Inside the command deck, the atmosphere was tense but resolute. Commander Marcus Rourke stood before the main view screen, which displayed the immense gravitational whirlpool in all its chaotic glory. "Steady as she goes," he instructed, his deep voice resonating with quiet determination. The crew, trained for exactly this kind of encounter, braced themselves for the unpredictable dance of gravitational distortions and time warps. They had embarked on a mission into the heart of cosmic mystery, a journey that could reshape humanity's destiny. Navigator Lena Ortiz adjusted the ship's trajectory, her fingers dancing across holographic controls. "We're entering the outer threshold of the event horizon," she reported, eyes fixed on the data streaming before her. "Expect significant space-time distortions. The readings suggest a series of rhythmic pulses emanating from within the singularity's edge." Her words, though technical, carried an undercurrent of awe. The rhythmic pulses hinted at a deeper order within chaos, a potential beacon, or a deliberate signal, much like the structured patterns observed from Earth's orbital array days earlier. In a quiet alcove of the bridge, Dr. Kamal Singh re-examined the latest sensor logs. He whispered to himself, "It's as if the black hole is trying to speak." The scientist's mind raced through theoretical models and anomalous gravitational equations. Was this a natural phenomenon, or did it hide the fingerprints of a deliberate engineered force? The question mingled with a palpable fear that humanity might have inadvertently opened a door best left closed. Beyond the ship's walls, the gravitational pull of the black hole began to distort the space around the Dauntless. Flickering shadows and bending light merged into a surreal tapestry of cosmic wonder and menace. In one fleeting moment, the crew glimpsed what appeared to be distant structures, hints of artificial constructs etched into the swirling abyss. The realization struck them hard. Somewhere within this maelstrom lay the remnants of an expedition force, perhaps already engaged in sending out their clandestine signals. A brief, controlled dialogue cut through the low hum of the engine room. "Commander, sensors have detected a vessel emerging from the disturbance," reported Lieutenant Harper from the tactical station. His tone was clipped, reflecting the hardened professionalism that had been honed over years of space combat training. "It's unlike any known ship design. Sleek, almost organic in its contours. Its signature is cloaked, but it's clearly powered by advanced propulsion." Commander Rourke's eyes narrowed as he studied the new data. "Maintain a safe distance, but keep us locked on that object," he ordered. The crew exchanged glances that mingled curiosity with cautious resolve. They knew that this unidentified vessel could be either a scouting party or an emissary from the force behind the signal. Either way, it signaled that the mystery of the black hole ran deeper than any initial hypothesis. As the Dauntless edged closer to the abyss, the external environment shifted dramatically. Time itself seemed to falter, with seconds stretching into minutes and light bending around unseen corners. The ship's internal systems strained under the weight of the gravitational anomalies. Engineers worked feverishly to adjust the ship's shielding and propulsion, every calculation critical to avoiding a fatal encounter with the black hole's gravitational clutch. Amidst the cosmic ballet, a quiet but potent undercurrent of humanity's indomitable spirit surged through the crew. They were explorers, defenders, and pioneers, a testament to the unyielding resolve of the species. Small, whispered words of encouragement and determination passed between crew members. "We've come too far to turn back now," murmured Navigator Ortiz, her eyes reflecting both the terror and the exhilaration of their journey. "Every moment out here is a chance to redefine our destiny." Deep within the ship's data core, encrypted communications from Earth's Space Command Center continued to stream in. General Alina Mendez's succinct orders ensured that every action taken was measured against the potential threat looming on the horizon. Humanity was not simply a passive observer in this cosmic confrontation. Even as the Dauntless sailed into the unknown, every system, every protocol was calibrated to protect the home planet from forces that lurked in the heart of the black hole. Outside the ship, the enigmatic pulses from the singularity grew in intensity. The alien vessel, still partially shrouded by the chaotic interplay of light and dark, appeared to be maneuvering with intent. It was as though it was sending a signal, a distress call, or perhaps a challenge, a bid for backup from a distant command that lay beyond the veil of the black hole. The tension aboard the Dauntless was palpable, a quiet storm of thoughts and emotions converging on the realization that they were at the frontier of a new kind of warfare, one fought not with conventional weapons, but with the very fabric of space and time. As the black hole's gravitational tide began to tug at the ship with an ever-increasing force, the crew steeled themselves for the unknown. Every sensor reading, every fleeting glimpse of the mysterious vessel, and every calculated maneuver was a step deeper into a realm where human ingenuity and resolve would be tested like never before. The journey into the abyss had begun, and with it the promise and peril of an encounter that could redefine the survival of humankind. In that moment, with the cosmic void unfolding before them, humanity's audacious spirit shone like a beacon against the darkness. The expedition was no longer just a scientific venture, it was a declaration. Humanity would meet the challenges of the unknown head-on, forging a path through the cosmic chaos to defend their home, and perhaps to unravel secrets that would echo across the stars. As the Dauntless pressed deeper into the gravitational maw of the black hole, the very fabric of reality seemed to unravel around her. The once familiar constellations of deep space dissolved into a twisting tapestry of light and shadow, as if the universe itself had become a shifting maze of fractal corridors. Every sensor aboard the ship pulsed with erratic energy, transmitting data that defied conventional logic. The steady hum of the engines was replaced by an eerie, dissonant symphony of creaks, groans, and digital whispers, a reminder that the rules they once took for granted no longer applied here. On the command deck, tension hung thick in the recycled air. Commander Marcus Rourke surveyed the chaos displayed on the panoramic view screen. "Status?" he barked, his voice slicing through the mounting uncertainty. Lieutenant Harper's fingers raced over his control panel as he replied in a low, urgent tone. "Sir, gravitational readings are off the charts. The distortion patterns are almost intentional. They're not random, they're structured." His eyes widened as holographic data streams wove intricate patterns that defied known equations. Dr. Evelyn Reyes leaned over a secondary console, her face bathed in the ghostly glow of shifting holograms. "Look here," she murmured, pointing at a series of pulsating waves that shimmered with a rhythmic cadence. "These aren't mere fluctuations. They're encoded signals, a cosmic Morse code embedded within the chaos." Dr. Kamal Singh, poring over his own set of data, added, "It's as if the black hole itself is sending us a message, one that transcends time and space." As the ship advanced further, the environment around them grew increasingly surreal. The gravitational field twisted space into corridors of bending light, where past and present merged into fleeting visions. For a moment, the crew saw ghostly images, a flash of long-forgotten battles, ancient ruins swallowed by time, and even familiar silhouettes that hinted at lost comrades. These apparitions were not illusions, but echoes of a history inscribed within the black hole's chaotic heart. In the midst of this disorientation, a sudden jolt rocked the Dauntless. Alarms blared as the vessel shuddered violently, and a red light bathed the bridge in an ominous glow. Engineer Mallory's voice rang out over the intercom, terse and clipped. Hull integrity at 76% and falling. We're taking on more strain than anticipated. Commander Rourke's eyes narrowed. Divert all power to the shielding matrix and adjust our course. We cannot afford another surge. Even as the crew scrambled to stabilize the ship, an unexpected visual appeared on the main screen. The mysterious vessel from earlier re-emerged, its sleek organic contours outlined against the swirling chaos. Its presence was silent yet commanding, a specter amid the cosmic tempest. Lieutenant Harper's voice came through in a hushed whisper. It's back, and it's not hiding this time. The vessel's form pulsed in tandem with the encoded signals, suggesting it was not merely drifting but actively orchestrating the events around them. A charged discussion ensued on the bridge. We must consider the possibility that this isn't a natural phenomenon, said Dr. Reyes. The periodic pulses, the reappearance of that vessel, it's as if someone or something is using the black hole as a gateway. Dr. Singh added, if this is indeed a signal, then it's a call for reinforcements from an expedition force. The patterns suggest intentionality, a deliberate mapping of gravitational corridors. Commander Rourke's gaze hardened as he absorbed every word. Or a trap, he countered quietly, a lure to draw us into an ambush by forces we can't yet comprehend. The tension on the bridge was palpable. The interplay of scientific wonder and mounting dread created an almost tangible pressure. As the gravitational pull intensified, the ship's instruments began to pick up erratic, overlapping signals, snatches of voices, garbled transmissions, and even the faintest echo of a warning. In one fleeting moment, Navigator Ortiz's voice cut through the tumult. Commander, the sensors are picking up a sequence, a repeating pattern that seems to be building a narrative. It's like a cosmic story written in gravity waves. Her words hung in the charged silence, hinting at a profound truth hidden within the swirling chaos. The interior of the black hole, it seemed, was a labyrinth of memory and destiny. The crew began to decipher that each gravitational pulse carried with it fragments of a long-lost history, a chronicle of civilizations that had traversed these forbidden corridors. Every pulse is a chapter, Dr. Reyes speculated, an ancient log recording the rise and fall of entities that dared to harness the power of this cosmic engine. Her eyes shone with both excitement and apprehension as she continued. And now, we may be reading the prologue to our own story. Amid the chaos, the mysterious vessel maintained its silent vigil, its movements deliberate and measured. It seemed to be guiding the Dauntless deeper into the heart of the labyrinth, where the boundary between space and time blurred into a single, tumultuous continuum. The gravitational distortions became more pronounced, and the ship's path twisted unpredictably. Each moment brought new challenges, sudden gravitational surges, warped images of distant galaxies, and enigmatic signals that defied easy explanation. In a moment of quiet resolve, Commander Rourke addressed his team. We're not here merely to observe. Our mission is to understand this phenomenon, and if necessary, to intercept any hostile intentions behind these signals. Remember, the survival of our home planet may depend on the answers we find within this chaos. His voice was firm, a beacon of determination amid the swirling uncertainty. As the Dauntless navigated through the chaotic heart of the black hole, a critical realization dawned upon the crew. The encoded signals, the spectral visions, and the relentless pull of gravity were all components of a larger design, a design that hinted at a coordinated effort to either warn or wage war. With every pulse, the labyrinth revealed more of its secrets, and with every revelation, the stakes grew higher. The crew's resolve was tempered by the gravity of their situation. They were no longer mere explorers. They had become unwilling participants in a cosmic chess game, where every move could mean salvation or oblivion. The mysterious vessel, the pulsating signals, and the distortions of time itself wove a narrative of both ancient heritage and impending conflict. In that charged moment, as the Dauntless edged closer to the unknown epicenter, Commander Rourke's final words resonated across the bridge. We press on, into the heart of this labyrinth. Our fate, and that of humanity depends on what we uncover next. With that, the ship surged forward, drawn inexorably into the depths of the black hole, as the encoded whispers of a long-forgotten past and the ominous promise of an uncertain future echoed in the void. Deep within the labyrinthine corridors of warped space-time, the Dauntless entered a region where reality itself seemed to pulse with an eerie, otherworldly rhythm. The ship's sensors began to detect not random gravitational fluctuations, but deliberate sequences, like echoes from a long-forgotten chronicle reverberating through the void. In this cosmic nexus, the familiar laws of physics yielded to cryptic patterns that hinted at ancient messages encoded in the very fabric of the black hole. Commander Rourke stood at the helm, eyes fixed on the central view screen where luminous arcs of energy danced in precise geometric patterns. "All stations report," he ordered, his tone measured but laced with apprehension. The bridge fell silent except for the soft hum of data streams and the occasional beeps of alert signals. At a secondary console, Dr. Evelyn Reyes studied the pulsating sequences. "Commander, these aren't mere random pulses," she said, her voice low with excitement and concern. "They form a language, a series of symbols that repeat and evolve. I believe we're witnessing a record of past events, perhaps even a warning." Her fingers traced the holographic lines as if trying to decipher their meaning through touch alone. Lieutenant Harper interjected, "The mysterious vessel we encountered earlier is transmitting on the same frequencies. It appears to be orchestrating these signals, possibly coordinating with an external force. The patterns suggest a summoning, a call for backup, or perhaps a declaration of war." His words hung heavy in the charged air, intensifying the uncertainty that already gripped the crew. As the ship edged deeper into the nexus, the gravitational waves began to exhibit an uncanny interplay with time. Moments stretched and compressed, flashes of what might have been battles long past, or echoes of distant civilizations, momentarily overlaid the view outside the viewport. It was as if the black hole was a cosmic archive, storing the memories of encounters that spanned epochs. Dr. Kamal Singh, absorbed in recalculating the gravitational equations, murmured, "We're not just navigating space, we're traversing history itself. Every pulse could be a chapter in a conflict that predates us." The navigation system started to behave erratically as the encoded signals interfered with the ship's delicate instrumentation. Engineer Mallory's voice crackled over the intercom. "Captain, our course adjustments are becoming unpredictable. These fluctuations are affecting our thrusters. If we don't isolate the interference, we risk being torn apart by the forces at play." Commander Rourke's jaw tightened as he weighed the mounting risks against the imperative to uncover the mystery behind these signals. In the midst of the tension, the ship's AI, nicknamed Astra, spoke in its calm, synthetic cadence. "Analysis complete. The signal structure corresponds to an ancient encryption algorithm, one reminiscent of early terrestrial communication codes, yet vastly more advanced. I estimate that if these transmissions are left unchecked, they could serve as a beacon for hostile entities beyond our current comprehension." The gravity of Astra's words settled over the crew like a shroud, each member acutely aware that the Nexus might be the crucible where fate itself was being forged. Amid the interplay of data and uncertainty, the enigmatic vessel reappeared on the periphery of the view screen. Its form was now more defined, a sleek silhouette that pulsed in synchrony with the encoded messages. In a brief, hushed exchange over the comms, Lieutenant Harper relayed, "It's closing in, almost as if it wants to merge its signal with ours." The vessel's approach was both mesmerizing and foreboding. Its movements were calculated, as though it were inviting, or perhaps challenging, the Dauntless to a confrontation in this nexus of echoes. The crew gathered in a tense huddle, their faces illuminated by the pulsating light of the holographic symbols. Commander Rourke's voice broke the silence. "We have two choices. We either attempt to decode these signals fully, risking exposure to whatever force is behind them, or we sever the connection to prevent any external reinforcements from arriving. Either decision could change the course of our mission and the fate of humanity." The weight of his words was palpable, each crew member silently grappling with the potential consequences. Dr. Reyes pressed forward. If we can decipher this message, we might uncover not only their intentions but also a strategy to counteract their call. We can't simply abandon the chance to learn from this living archive of conflict. Her determination sparked a murmur of agreement among the team, tempered by the ever-present danger that every moment spent decoding might bring them closer to an irreversible entanglement. In a quiet corner of the bridge, Dr. Singh adjusted a series of sensors, his brow furrowing as the encoded transmissions morphed into what appeared to be a coherent plea. Join the reckoning, or be forsaken. The words, though fragmented, resonated deeply, a challenge not only to the dauntless, but to the very spirit of humanity. It was a reminder that this was more than a scientific anomaly. It was an ideological battleground, a cosmic test of resolve where every pulse could tip the scales toward salvation or doom. As the gravitational distortions peaked, the Dauntless shuddered under the strain of the Nexus's immense power. The enigmatic vessel's signals surged, merging with the ancient echoes in a final, defiant crescendo. "All hands, brace for impact," Commander Rourke shouted as the ship's structure vibrated violently. The crew clung to their stations, eyes locked on the expanding horizon of encoded light and shadow, a spectral tapestry that promised both revelation and annihilation. In that crucible of chaos, humanity's resolve was put to its ultimate test. The nexus of echoes, with its melding of past and future, beckoned the crew to uncover its secrets, even as it threatened to overwhelm them with its inexorable force. With a final determined glance at his crew, Commander Rourke steeled himself for the challenges to come. "We are the vanguard of our species," he declared, "and we will decode this message, no matter the cost." As the encoded whispers of ancient conflict melded with the ship's desperate struggle for control, the Dauntless plunged further into the unknown, leaving behind the safety of certainty to confront a destiny written in the echoes of a cosmic past. The Dauntless sailed on through the swirling chaos as the nexus of echoes began to unravel. A sudden, piercing disturbance rattled the ship, a violent shudder that rippled through every compartment, forcing the crew to cling to their stations. The holographic displays flashed warnings, and the ambient hum of the engine room shifted into an erratic pulse that mirrored the black hole's own turbulent heartbeat. "Status report," Commander Rourke barked, his eyes scanning a cascade of sensor data that now revealed an unsettling pattern. The geometric signals, which had been a steady rhythm until moments ago, now exploded in a cacophony of overlapping frequencies. Dr. Evelyn Reyes and Dr. Kamal Singh exchanged alarmed glances as the numerical codes on their consoles morphed into a clear, deliberate message, one that resonated with an urgency that could not be ignored. Lieutenant Harper's voice came in, strained yet focused. "Sir, there's an anomaly forming at the edge of our sensor range, a massive structure emerging from the distorted veil. It's unlike any vessel we've encountered. Its form is shifting, almost as if it were sculpted from the very fabric of space-time." His words hung in the charged air, punctuating the moment with a mix of dread and anticipation. As the Dauntless approached the burgeoning formation, the black hole's swirling chaos gave way to a window of eerie clarity. Through that fractured veil, the crew could now glimpse a colossal biomechanical construct, an amalgam of ancient design and futuristic engineering emerging from the gravitational tempest. Its surface pulsed with iridescent lights, echoing the same coded signals that had haunted their journey. For an instant, the vessel seemed to be beckoning them forward, as if offering a dark invitation to cross an interstellar threshold. "Could it be a relay?" mused Dr. Reyes, her fingers dancing over her console as she attempted to decode the layered transmissions. "A beacon to call reinforcements from somewhere beyond?" Her words were met with a cautious nod from Dr. Singh, who murmured, "Or a trap meticulously designed to ensnare any unwary traveler." The duality of possibility, salvation or annihilation, hung heavily over the bridge. Engineer Mallory's urgent tones pierced the mounting tension. "Shield integrity at 68%, and it's dropping fast." We're absorbing energy fluctuations that defy our calculations. I'm diverting every available resource to the damping matrix, but these surges, they're relentless. The ship shuddered again, the metallic groan echoing like the lament of a wounded leviathan. Despite the chaos, every crew member worked with synchronized precision, aware that the slightest miscalculation could be their undoing. Navigator Ortiz recalibrated their trajectory amidst the gravitational distortions. "We need to avoid direct exposure to that construct," she advised, her eyes darting between the rapidly shifting displays. "Its gravitational influence is erratic. One misstep and we'll be caught in a tidal surge." Commander Rourke weighed her words carefully. "Maintain our current course, but prepare for evasive maneuvers at the first sign of an aggressive move. We're not about to let this phenomenon dictate our fate." His command, resolute and unwavering, was a lifeline in the midst of uncertainty. As the colossal structure drew nearer, the encoded signals within the nexus coalesced into a singular clarion call, a summons that vibrated deep within the ship's core. It was a call not just for reinforcements, but for confrontation. A quiet dread settled among the crew. It was as if the very cosmos was aligning against them, setting the stage for a showdown that transcended conventional warfare. A brief yet intense dialogue crackled over the comm system. "Commander, I'm receiving an incoming transmission on an encrypted channel," reported Lieutenant Harper, his voice low. "It's layered with advanced protocols and warnings. The message is fragmented, but one phrase is repeating: 'Stand as one or be divided by the void.'" His words, simple yet laden with portent, seemed to encapsulate the existential threat they now faced. Dr. Reyes leaned forward, her brow furrowed in concentration. "This isn't random noise. It's a directive, a strategy to unite forces against a common enemy, or to divide us before the enemy can fully engage." The implications were staggering. Could the enigmatic construct be a harbinger, a precursor to an expeditionary force already en route to our solar system? And if so, was it laying the groundwork for an interstellar conflict, one that might determine the survival of humanity? The black hole, once an abstract enigma, was now revealed as a crucible, a testing ground where the laws of physics and the destinies of entire worlds were inextricably intertwined. The encoded transmissions grew louder and more insistent, resonating like the beating of a cosmic drum. The Dauntless shuddered once more as gravitational distortions rippled through the ship, blurring the boundary between external threat and internal resolve. "Brace for impact!" Commander Rourke's command cut through the rising din, a rallying cry for the crew. Every station buzzed with frantic energy as they executed rapid-fire calculations and countermeasures. Shields flared in a burst of blue luminescence, and the ship's engines roared in defiance against the relentless pull of the gravitational maelstrom. In that charged moment, the Dauntless became more than a vessel. It was a symbol of human determination, a lone bastion of resistance standing against the cosmic unknown. In the silence that followed, as the fragmented veil of space-time trembled on the brink of collapse, each crew member confronted the realization that their journey had entered a new phase, a phase where the forces arrayed against them were not merely natural phenomena, but the heralds of an impending war. The encoded call, the colossal construct, and the unknown expedition force were all threads in a tapestry of cosmic conflict that spanned light years and defied mortal understanding. As the black hole's turbulent edge pressed ever closer, the Dauntless surged forward, propelled by a blend of scientific inquiry and unyielding resolve. Every heartbeat echoed with the weight of destiny. Every sensor reading was a reminder that the survival of humanity and the sanctity of their home planet hung in the balance. With the fracturing veil before them and the echoes of a forgotten war resonating in their ears, the crew prepared to confront the ultimate question. Would they unite as one against the cosmic tide, or be consumed by the darkness that lay ahead? The answer, shrouded in the chaos of collapsing realities, would soon emerge from the void. The atmosphere aboard the Dauntless grew denser as the ship plunged further into the turbulent heart of the black hole. What had begun as eerie, isolated signals now coalesced into a thundering chorus, a clarion call that heralded the arrival of a long-sought adversary. The encoded transmissions that once whispered secrets of ancient conflict now blared with the unmistakable resonance of a mobilizing force. Sensors across the ship registered multiple signatures converging from the dark recesses of warped space. Sleek, angular vessels emerging in formation, their designs both alien and menacing, flanked by a colossal, biomechanical structure whose pulsing surface echoed the enigmatic code. Commander Marcus Rourke's gaze fixed on the central view screen as the enemy armada materialized like wraiths from the void. "This is it," he murmured, a blend of awe and steely resolve in his tone. "We're no longer just explorers. We are the first line of defense against an enemy that seeks to reclaim its dominion." His words, crisp and laden with the gravity of impending battle, rallied the crew into a unified front. The mission had transformed. What began as a quest for knowledge had evolved into a desperate stand to protect humanity's future. At the tactical console, Lieutenant Harper's fingers danced over the controls, synchronizing sensor arrays to track the fleet's every maneuver. "Sir, multiple vessels inbound, approaching in a tight formation," he reported, his voice taut with urgency. "They're not here merely to observe. Their energy signatures are aggressive, and the lead craft is broadcasting a high-intensity pulse that's intensifying our gravitational disturbances." Harper's eyes flicked between the data streams and the looming silhouette of the enemy formation, each reading confirming the severity of the threat. Deep in the engine room, Engineer Mallory fought against the relentless surges of gravitational energy. "Shields are straining to contain the energy fluctuations," she cautioned over the comm, her hands steady despite the escalating crisis. "I'm rerouting auxiliary power to the damping matrix, but we'll need to adjust our vector soon or risk catastrophic structural failure." Her technical acumen and rapid response were a lifeline amid the chaos, every calculation critical as the ship braced for the upcoming clash. Dr. Evelyn Reyes and Dr. Kamal Singh, their earlier fascination now tempered by urgent pragmatism, worked to decode the pulsing transmissions. "These signals aren't just battle orders, they're a call to arms," Dr. Reyes explained in a hushed exchange with Dr. Singh, her eyes darting over rapidly updating holographic scripts. "They're summoning reinforcements from their home world. If we don't disrupt their channel, the enemy will have the full might of their expedition force behind them." Dr. Singh's voice was equally grave. "We must decipher and jam their communication link, or we risk opening a floodgate of destruction." Navigator Lena Ortiz recalibrated the ship's course, her eyes fixed on shifting gravitational vectors that threatened to eject them from the turbulent corridor. "I'm locking onto a safe vector," she announced, sweat glistening on her brow as she manipulated the holographic navigation interface. "We need to maneuver into a formation that minimizes our exposure to their high-energy pulses. It's a risky ballet, one wrong move and we'll be torn apart." Her urgency was mirrored by every crew member. The Dauntless was not just a vessel, but a beacon of human ingenuity and resilience. In the dim glow of the command deck, Commander Rourke's steady voice resonated over the intercom. "All hands, prepare for engagement. We hold this line at all costs. Our objective is to sever their signal and delay any reinforcements long enough for us to reach a stable orbit outside the black hole's pull." His command was both a rallying cry and a burden, a reminder that humanity's survival rested on the outcome of this celestial confrontation. The enemy fleet advanced with a cold, relentless precision. Their lead vessel, a dark silhouette against the churning backdrop, unleashed a barrage of high-frequency pulses that hammered the Dauntless' shields. The ship trembled as energy waves crashed over its hull, each impact a testament to the raw power of an enemy unrestrained by the limitations of known physics. In a swift, coordinated maneuver, the enemy craft began a pincer movement, attempting to encircle the Dauntless and force it into a vulnerable position. "Divert power to the forward shields and engage evasive thrusters," Rourke ordered, his tone both commanding and calm despite the rising tempest of conflict. Lieutenant Harper and Engineer Mallory worked in unison to recalibrate the defensive arrays, their expert hands turning chaos into calculated countermeasures. The Dauntless shuddered as its newly reinforced shields absorbed the incoming pulses, a brilliant blue aura flickering in defiance of the enemy's assault. Amid the din of alarms and the frantic beeping of sensors, a brief, desperate dialogue crackled over the comm channel. "Commander, I'm detecting an anomaly in their transmission. It appears to be a command loop, a recurring sequence that might be exploited," Harper said, his voice tight with concentration. "If we can decode it, we might be able to send a counter signal to scramble their coordination." Rourke's eyes narrowed as he considered the tactical advantage. "Do it," he commanded. "We must disrupt their communication before reinforcements arrive." As the battle raged, the holographic displays morphed into a dazzling array of light and shadow, a visual symphony of interstellar warfare. The enemy's lead vessel pulsed with every beat of its own mechanical heart, sending ripples through space that resonated with an ancient, almost ritualistic fervor. The crew of the Dauntless fought not only against physical forces, but also against a transmission that threatened to merge technology with an almost mystical purpose. Time seemed to slow as the countersignal was transmitted, its encrypted code weaving into the fabric of the enemy's communication network. For a heartbeat, the chaotic pulse of the assault stuttered, and the enemy vessels faltered as their command loop was thrown into disarray. "It's working," shouted Dr. Reyes, eyes wide with triumph and relief. But even as the moment of advantage shone through, the black hole's gravitational grip reminded them of the ever-present danger, its pull a constant reminder of the void waiting beyond. The convergence of destiny had arrived, a battle fought on the knife's edge of space-time, where every decision could tip the scales between salvation and annihilation. With the enemy's signals momentarily disrupted, the Dauntless seized the opening to adjust its course, preparing to deliver a decisive counterstrike. Commander Rourke's final words rang clear over the comm. "Stand firm, crew. Today, we not only defend our home, we redefine our future. Let humanity's spirit blaze through this darkness and reclaim our destiny." In that charged moment, as the cosmos itself seemed to hold its breath, the Dauntless surged forward, a solitary bastion of hope amid the chaos. The battle for the black hole had just begun, and the fate of humanity hinged on the brilliance of their resolve and the unyielding fire of their indomitable spirit. In the chaotic maelstrom of the black hole's inner sanctum, the Dauntless and her resolute crew found themselves at a crossroads between obliteration and salvation. The enemy armada, disoriented by the earlier disruption of their command loop, had regrouped. Now, in the heart of this gravitational tempest, they surged forward with renewed ferocity. The hull of the Dauntless groaned under the relentless barrage of high-energy pulses, each strike a harbinger of imminent collapse. Yet amidst the chaos, Commander Rourke's unwavering command resonated like a beacon of hope. "Steady, everyone," Rourke barked, his voice cutting through the din of alarms and turbulence. "This is our crucible, our moment to reclaim not only our position, but our future." His eyes swept over the bridge, meeting those of his crew with an intensity that conveyed both determination and the weight of their shared destiny. At the tactical console, Lieutenant Harper's hands flew over the controls. "Sir, enemy vessels are closing in from all quadrants. Their formation is shifting into a tight, predatory pattern. They're not giving up. They're coming for the kill." His tone was measured, but the tension in his voice betrayed the peril they faced. Dr. Reyes, standing beside him, continued to monitor the now chaotic streams of encoded transmissions. "Their signals are frenzied, almost desperate. It's as if they're trying to muster every last bit of their ancient might," she observed, her voice steady despite the looming threat. The ship's AI, Astra, interjected in its calm, synthetic timbre. "Calculations indicate that we have one tactical opportunity. A narrow gravitational channel exists between the converging energy surges. If we can harness this corridor, we might amplify our weapon output and destabilize the enemy's formation." Engineer Mallory's fingers danced over her console as she assessed the risk. "It's a high-risk maneuver," she cautioned. "The gravitational gradients are extreme. One miscalculation and we're ripped apart. But it might be our only shot. Navigator Ortiz's eyes were fixed on the swirling data as she recalculated their course. I've locked onto the corridor, she confirmed. If we time this right, we can channel the black hole's own force to supercharge our plasma cannons. It's like turning the void against them. A murmur of both hope and trepidation swept through the bridge. Every crew member understood that the impending maneuver could either seal their fate or pave the way to a decisive victory. Commander Rourke took a deep breath. All right, everyone, this is it. We're going to ride the gravitational channel. Lieutenant Harper, synchronize our weapons to the anticipated energy spike. Dr. Reyes, keep deciphering any enemy countermeasures. Engineer Mallory, I need every bit of shielding you can muster. Navigator Ortiz, plot the channel. We leave on my mark. For a heartbeat, silence reigned as the crew honed in on their roles. Then, with a resolute nod, Rourke declared, in a fluid motion, the Dauntless veered sharply, plunging into the narrow corridor carved by the tumultuous energies of the black hole. Outside, the enemy fleet reacted instantly, vessels twisting in a desperate bid to maintain formation. The gravitational channel roared around them, a swirling tunnel of brilliant, unstable light that distorted the very fabric of space. Within this crucible, the ship's plasma cannons began to hum with an extraordinary intensity, their power seemingly augmented by the black hole's raw energy. Weapons at maximum output, Lieutenant Harper called out as a salvo of supercharged plasma bolts burst from the dauntless armaments, streaking toward the enemy. The enemy formation shuddered under the onslaught, several vessels buckling under the amplified impact. Dr. Reyes's voice cut in. Their shields are faltering. This is our chance to break their lines. The crew's resolve hardened. The gamble had ignited a renewed fighting spirit across the bridge. The enemy's lead vessel, a dark angular construct pulsing with ominous energy, attempted to counter the assault. Its high-frequency pulses now collided with the intensified firepower of the Dauntless. The collision of energies produced a blinding flash, and for a fleeting moment, the turbulent corridor seemed to hold its breath. In that suspended instant, Commander Rourke could almost taste victory, a promise born from the union of human ingenuity and the raw, unpredictable force of the cosmos. Yet the battle was far from over. As the plasma barrage tore into the enemy's formation, another wave of hostile signals pulsed through the dark void, a coordinated counterattack meant to destabilize their newfound advantage. Incoming secondary barrage, Engineer Mallory warned, eyes darting over her rapidly updating displays. The ship shuddered again as a fresh volley of energy pulses slammed into the reinforced shields. But thanks to the gravitational channel's unique properties, the Dauntless maintained its trajectory, the vessel riding the edge of annihilation with breathtaking precision. Amid the tumult, a series of urgent voices filled the bridge. Shields at 45%, reported a sensor operator. Structural integrity compromised on port side. The crisis was acute, yet even as the crew absorbed the impact of their dire situation, a palpable sense of unity surged. We're not done yet, Rourke asserted, his voice resolute. This channel is our weapon and our shield. Use it to our advantage. His command galvanized the team, and each member pushed their skills to the limit, the ship's every system operating in concert with a singular, unyielding purpose. In the midst of this maelstrom, Dr. Reyes uncovered a critical pattern within the enemy transmissions, a final, desperate command sequence that threatened to reinitialize the enemy's fleet coordination. If we can disrupt this signal entirely, she urged, we can shatter their command structure and force a retreat. Without hesitation, Lieutenant Harper and Engineer Mallory collaborated, channeling their expertise to integrate the countersignal into the existing gravitational interference. Their combined efforts produced a cascade of feedback pulses that rippled outward like shock waves through the enemy ranks. As the cacophony of battle reached its fevered pitch, the lead enemy vessel faltered. The synchronized countermeasure caused its transmissions to distort and fracture, sending disarray through the remaining fleet. In rapid succession, enemy vessels began to break formation, their once cohesive attack splintering into scattered fragments. "They're retreating," Navigator Ortiz announced, her voice brimming with both relief and disbelief. Commander Rourke allowed himself a brief, tight smile. "Hold the line and bring us out of the channel," he commanded. The crew responded with a flurry of coordinated inputs, guiding the Dauntless out of the gravitational corridor as the enemy fleet, now in disarray, struggled to regain composure. The battle had not been won without cost. Scorch marks and strained circuitry testified to the ferocity of the confrontation, but humanity's indomitable spirit had turned the tide. In the quiet that followed, the Dauntless emerged battered but victorious, drifting on the periphery of the black hole's edge. The echo of the enemy's final disintegrated signals faded into the cosmic background, leaving behind a silence heavy with the promise of a new dawn. Commander Rourke surveyed his crew, their eyes reflecting both exhaustion and triumph. "Today, we have shown that humanity will not be cowed by the vast darkness," he declared. "We have reclaimed our destiny from the jaws of oblivion, and we will continue to fight, united, for our home." As the battered vessel stabilized, drifting amidst the swirling remnants of cosmic chaos, every heartbeat on the Dauntless pulsed with a renewed hope. In that crucible of reclamation, the crew had not only defied the enemy but had transformed the black hole's own fury into a weapon of liberation. The journey was far from over, yet in that defining moment, humanity's resilience shone brighter than the distant stars, a beacon against the endless night. In the waning moments of the cosmic tempest, the battered Dauntless surged toward the outer limits of the black hole's gravitational grasp. The air on the bridge was thick with the residue of battle. Every sensor, every weary heartbeat, resonated with the gravity of the moment. The enemy fleet lay in ruins behind them, their once menacing signals now reduced to fragmented echoes scattered across the void. Yet, as the ship neared the event horizon's edge, a palpable tension persisted, a silent promise that the greatest challenge was yet to come. Commander Marcus Rourke stood at the helm, his eyes fixed on the panoramic display of swirling cosmic hues. "Prepare for extraction," he ordered, his voice calm yet imbued with an urgency born of sacrifice and hope. "Our mission isn't complete until we secure the knowledge and the technology that will safeguard our homeland." His command was met with resolute nods from his crew, each member steeling themselves for the final passage through the labyrinthine distortions of space-time. In the central command, Dr. Evelyn Reyes and Dr. Kamal Singh continued to decode the remnants of the enemy's disrupted transmissions. "There's a blueprint embedded in these signals," Dr. Reyes observed, fingers gliding over the holographic interface as streams of ancient data unfolded before her eyes. "It appears that the enemy was trying to activate a gateway, a mechanism to draw reinforcements from beyond this realm." Dr. Singh's eyes shone with both awe and concern. "If we can harness and neutralize that gateway, we'll not only halt their reinforcements, but also unlock unprecedented insights into advanced gravitational manipulation." Meanwhile, engineer Mallory and navigator Lena Ortiz orchestrated the ship's delicate exit from the black hole's grip. "We're nearing the critical threshold," Ortiz reported, her voice steady despite the churning data. "A narrow corridor of stabilized space-time is opening ahead, a natural egress carved out by the black hole's own fluctuations." Mallory's hands moved rapidly over her console, recalibrating power to the shielding matrix. "We're riding the edge of annihilation," she cautioned. "But if our calculations hold, we'll be propelled into a safe zone before the gravitational gradients can tear us apart." A low, measured hum of the engines merged with the rhythmic beeps of sensor readouts, creating an almost meditative counterpoint to the chaos they had endured. Outside the reinforced hull, the cosmic panorama shifted, an endless expanse of light and shadow, where swirling nebulae met the inky blackness of space. In that breathtaking vista, the Dauntless appeared as a solitary beacon, a testament to human resolve amid the overwhelming majesty of the universe. Suddenly, a sharp alarm cut through the stillness. "Incoming data spike from the transmission core." Lieutenant Harper's voice rang out, tinged with urgency. The display on the central console flickered, revealing a final surge of encrypted code emanating from the enemy's severed network. It was as if the remnants of their adversaries were issuing one last desperate command, a final attempt to seize control of the gateway. "We have to act now," Commander Rourke declared. "Divert all available power to the countermeasure array. We must intercept and disarm that signal before it reactivates." In a flurry of coordinated activity, the crew executed the command with near-perfect synchronization. Dr. Reyes and Dr. Singh worked side by side decoding the encrypted barrage, while Lieutenant Harper adjusted the countersignal parameters to match the erratic pulse of the enemy transmission. Engineer Mallory reallocated power reserves, her fingers a blur on the control interface as the countermeasure built in intensity. "This is our last stand," she murmured, every word echoing with the weight of fate. As the countersignal surged forth, a brilliant cascade of light rippled across the central display, a spectral dance of energy that merged with the enemy's final transmission. For a fleeting moment, time itself seemed to suspend as the two forces collided in a cosmic symphony of creation and destruction. The rogue transmission wavered, then fragmented, its coherent structure dissolving into a cascade of harmless static. "It's done," Dr. Reyes whispered, barely audible over the hum of systems. "The gateway is offline." A collective exhale rippled through the bridge. Commander Rourke allowed himself a brief, satisfied smile before turning his attention back to the mission at hand. "Set course for the extraction vector," he commanded. "Navigator, plot our exit through the corridor. We'll use the natural stabilization to ride the gravitational wave back to our designated safe zone." As the Dauntless accelerated into the narrow egress, the turbulent interplay of gravitational forces began to yield to a more predictable cadence. Outside, the cosmos reasserted its ancient order, a vast expanse of shimmering stars and slowly evolving nebulae that promised both mystery and hope. The journey through the gravitational channel was as much a rebirth as it was an escape. Every second carried with it the promise of a future unburdened by the specter of hostile reinforcements. In the quiet aftermath, as the ship emerged into a region of relative stability, Commander Rourke addressed his crew, his voice both reflective and resolute. "Today, we have faced the void and emerged victorious. We have not only defended our home, but unlocked secrets that will propel humanity into a new era. Our journey inside the black hole was a trial by fire, a crucible that tested our mettle, our unity, and our indomitable spirit." The crew shared a moment of silent camaraderie, a mutual understanding that their sacrifices had forged the path to a brighter future. As the Dauntless charted a course back toward familiar space, the lingering echoes of the black hole receded into the darkness, leaving behind only the promise of infinite discovery. In that serene expanse, where the past met the future, humanity's resolve shone like a beacon against the eternal night. The horizon beckoned with untold wonders and challenges, and though the scars of battle would remain, so too would the strength born of unity and perseverance. For in the heart of the cosmos, even the darkest void could be illuminated by the unwavering light of human spirit. And so, as the Dauntless sailed toward home, the crew carried with them the legacy of their extraordinary odyssey, a reminder that in the boundless theater of the universe, humanity would forever stand as a guardian of hope, a beacon of resilience, and an explorer of infinity.